Yo, hello, hello, hello. What's up? Let's do it. With my computer that's breaking, but I ordered the new piece, the new fan, so that's making the noise. But being a mentally, being mentally tough, I'm just joking. Wait, why is it not making noise? I need to test. Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. With the big guns. All right. So whose reading am I doing? Yes, I do not know. I have to shut my computer down every time I'm not using it. I have 2 more readings to go until I am 1 month from completely being caught up. Isn't that crazy? It was 4 or 5 months, like a month and a half or 2 months ago. All right, where's my list? I think I know who it is. I think I know who you are. Just the name. I have no idea what you look like. I have no idea about anything about you. I don't remember our conversation. And that's good. I do that on purpose. Okay, yeah. So we have 2 charts. I'm going to choose between these two because they're these are the two that I haven't done from that month. It was a very, very slow month. It was a month of healing, a month of change where I couldn't really, where I was just like, all right, I'm not gonna even try to get new clients. I'm just gonna try to get this wait list down. Okay, so we have one here. Oh, ooh, 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 ooh. So whoever this is for, I chose you over the other person. Okay, let's see. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Ooh, ooh. Okay, that's interesting. That strikes my fancy. Now let's see this one. Hey, stop meowing, cat. Cat 105, whoever it was. It was Felix. This one. Mm, hmm. Let me sip my drink. It's not alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. Besides 4, 8. Let's call it 8 days per year, but they're usually all 4 back to back, and then yeah, like basically 2 music festivals. Okay. So I think I'm pretty set on which one. Yeah, we're running with this one. Mhm. Change the name. All right, let's go. Stop video. I like to meditate when I do readings. So I need to turn some kind of music or sound on. If you probably won't hear anything because I have these headphones that block out external sound, but I need something. Let's see. That's right. I just put my video game on, or it's just a computer playing against each other because yeah, I block the sound and out here because I have sound canceling. Um, well, a very interesting chart indeed. 29-degree moon in Sag, conjunct Vesta with a 1-degree sun in Aquarius conjunct Venus. I keep getting Aquarius, or actually, wait, no. Oh, I keep getting Sun conjunct Venus, people. Um, so first off is just how amazing those two signs work together. Um, Sag loves Aquarius, Aquarius loves Sag. They're both, you know, Sag moons. I'm a Sag moon, so welcome to the club. And we're all about freedom. We're all about adventure. We're all about I was thinking about it. I was like, what? Like, I was like, I found a trend. Like, my favorite entertainers, and this could be obviously subjective, but the people like famous people that I find the most entertaining are Sag moons. Um, so yeah, there's just like this inner expansion that comes from being a Sag moon. Um, and yeah, so there's just that emotional need for for freedom. And as an Aquarius, it's the same thing, right? You're an Aquarius to individuate. And that comes from your South Node at Capricorn. Square Saturn. So your past life energy, right? The karma you're dealing with, you were very ruled over. Like you were very, very like you were very controlled by the matrix, as they would say. You were very conditioned by whether it was religion, family, any kind of tradition, just whatever society you're in, you um there was a level of real like kind of stiffness. And that stiffness really took you out of your essence, right? Because Aquarius, I believe, I know that our charts, our sun signs, all that, we have them for a reason, right? It's not random. So for you to be an Aquarius in this lifetime and a Sag moon, the two signs that are the most about freedom, is simple. It's because you are here to be free. And South Node in Capricorn, also that's known for being someone who um and of course I had a feeling I was gonna this is a thing. If you actually watch if you were to watch my readings that I post on YouTube, I don't post all of them. I'm posting less and less. I just feel like my readings are too good, and it's just like I don't know. Take classes with me if you want to learn. But I still have given out so much free stuff. But it's not even about that. It's just that like I have my own way of doing astrology. It's like my style. No one taught me. I taught myself. So I don't want people copying that because it's like this is my style, you know? Like a lot of these things like I've come up with through my own intuition, downloads, right? So I was gonna say I bet you she has Pluto square the nodes, past life trauma. Yes, you do. So you have Saturn and Pluto trying the nodes. So I have that too, the Pluto square nodes. And let me tell you, the biggest thing astrology ever taught me about myself was that the trauma that have shown through my behavior early in life and how I was not because of this lifetime. It was because of past lives. Of course, there's also the link of the two, but that past life trauma played a huge role. Um, so yeah, it really is about like deep unresolved material relating to like the unconscious self, like compulsions, motivations, and also like the urge to transform or stay the same, right? So it's really like a fork in the road, like where there's this real battle between the higher self, the the soul, and the kind of more adaptive self, the ego, right? So you're here to transform, and a big thing of that is surrender, right? We were in 90, 82. So basically, there can be a lot of resistance to this very high evolutionary goal. But there's this struggle between like power and powerlessness is a huge theme that's been playing out over lifetimes. And it's about like really, really deep healing. Um just like things like astrology, like some like really powerful symbolic teachings that can help you transform any kind of like, anything that like that can be really powerful. But what can happen, so there can be like different power dynamics at play here. Anything from like some fucked up psychological like disturbance or something like that. Um to something, because Pluto is about power. So like someone who may have like misused power or had power misused towards them. So a lot of people with South Node or nodes square Pluto, they have like they've been betrayed in past lives, and sometimes it can be very hard for them to trust because I'm in that group, right? Because they've been betrayed. So yeah, like the low road is to take, to try to overpower people and stuff, right? The high road is to really find that grit, that grind, that power within yourself. Um, but like with the betrayal point, it's not necessarily just betrayal of from other people, right? In many cases, it's betrayal of the self. So let that sink in. Um, so yeah. So confronting limitations is really important. And yeah, it really is like time to transform and choose the soul over the ego, the soul's needs over the ego's wants. And what it also demonstrates is that the necessary commitment needed was lacking in the past. So you really need to honor the commitments that you have in this lifetime. So then with Saturn, right? This one's a lot different. Um, as I was saying before, that's about past life conditioning. As I was saying, and then that becomes the basis for repression. Um, so it's really about like the need to like mature and to take responsibility for one's own life, right? Um, not blame others, all that stuff. Learn self-control. But a lot of people with this, they enter this lifetime with like a feeling of genuine guilt. Like they feel like they've done something wrong on an unconscious level. And you have Saturn in the 12th house too. So it can be very deep and spiritual and really push you towards these esoteric studies of the unseen energies to really understand it. Hence why you're a Scorpio rising, Jupiter rising. You're meant to really learn a lot about that too. Um, so aside from that, what else can I say? Yeah, so it's in Libra also, so like the Saturn. So in its exact degree, like it's right on there. So, that could be, related to relationships, kind of conditioning in relationships that were self-limiting in their nature. And yeah, it's really just like about making kind of direct reparations for past mistakes, and really recognizing them, and it makes the Saturn return very, very, very powerful and very, very important. So, as a South Node in Capricorn square Saturn, you know, like with square Pluto, it could be the case that power the idea of power was, very, very, weighing heavy, right? Like, the idea of, how to, yeah. So I don't like to say like you were the one that was betrayed, or you're the one that did the betraying, you're the one that did this or did that. All I know is that there's trauma and it has to be overcome. That's all I know. Um, yeah, and then with Saturn, South Node to Capricorn, that can be like a tendency to be too much in the masculine, too much in the material world, too much in that conditioned existence, right? So, the importance shifts to um the North Node in Cancer, North Node being, the point, where you're trying to how you say it? It's like the metaphoric mountain never climbed in past lives, right? So in Cancer, that's you trying to get more in touch with your feminine side, right? That's what it represents. And getting kind of, yeah, more in touch with the softer side, and developing that strong spiritual relationship with yourself. So um so yeah, so you see how like someone who's been kind of held back like that on the levels, would enter this lifetime, and their spirit guides would be like, okay, well, you had this experience in past lives. Um, let's, you're gonna be um, Aquarius Sag, the two freest, freedom loving signs, right? So of course every Sag moon is you know, loves to travel. Um, they love to under stress. They need change. They're very big on change. They're very big on wisdom. That they're really here to acquire truth, right? That's the goal. Acquire truth, acquire wisdom, and then be able to tie your truth to your dharma, what you do, your big picture life, less life purpose. So um now it's significant that you have 0, 1, and 29 degrees, and you have a retrograde Venus. Very significant. And a lot of that has to do with well, it's kind of like final boss energy, right? Having that Sagittarius at 29 degrees, there can be a level of feeling kind of held back. Like life is always fucking with you, that kind of stuff, like two steps forward, one step back. Or one step forward, two steps back. So there can, yeah. And in fact, but your moon is with Neptune, which is known for being a very psychic placement. People who have moon conjunct Neptune are natural empaths. Doesn't matter their moon sign. Even though you have moon in Sag, it gives you like kind of like a moon in Sag/Pisces vibe. Um, so that emphasizes the importance of alone time and the importance of understanding that you're a sponge of energy, or for energy, and that you can be really affected by um by other people's bad energy. So it's just super, super important for you to know that, and to know that during very, very I was just talking to my friend about this, like during stressful times, or not even stressful times, during times where you're around a lot, like just to really, really understand like what your energy equals. Um, right? Like really understand what your energy equals, like when you're by yourself, so that you know, you can kind of like gauge that. And then when you're around certain people in certain environments, you can go back to yourself and then know, okay, like my normal, let's say you're at a let's say let's call it 0 minus 10 and 10. 0 is you at your normal state, not that it's a 0, but just you get what I mean. And um 10 is you feeling at the maximum, minus 10 is you at the worst. Let's say you're in a certain environment, let's say it's a work environment. Um and you feel complete, or with certain friends, you come back feeling completely drained, right? That's an indication. That is a massive indication, um that their energy, is draining to you. And what happens also with moon square conjunct Neptune is that you become someone who, I'm gonna go on camera a little bit. Yeah, you become somewhere in Mexico. You're not even Mexican, but whatever. Are you? No, you're not. Yeah, you become someone who is just like really wanting to stand up for other people, and where you have an amazing imagination, and you can receive downloads, you can receive like beautiful spiritual insights through your imagination, right? Very, very sensitive. But yeah, just that feeling of being overwhelmed um is very, very, very prominent. Um and it can make it really difficult to cope with reality, honestly. Like if you're a healer, um it could be like taking on other people's energy. It could be really hard for a healer with that to I guess to not take on their clients like pain, right? Also, the moon is usually the mother. So there could be like um an unrealistic idea of your early nurturing, or of your mother, or you're more the kind of parent that played the mother role, the kind of nurturing role. Um and yeah, like it's just like all it makes also boundaries really, really important, because those open up a lot. So the key, also with the mother, there can be like this feeling of really deep spiritual bonding, like feeling like really at one with the mother. But it's important to really look at it closely and look at it in a really realist way. But I don't see any hard aspects to the moon. So perhaps things are cool with the mother. Let me just check. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, just like being able to tune into your imagination is huge. Alone makes alone time so important. Um, those deep insights you have, all that. Um, the more you develop your artistic and spiritual, creative, like that part of your nature, that's the best. But you have to really, really more than anyone, avoid negative people and drugs, because Neptune moon can lead to addictions. And that's, huge. Let me look at one thing real quick. Just take some mental notes. Okay, so you have that. Interesting. I love that. Mars Mars Saturn is interesting. That that placement. Oh, where your chart go? Oh, it disappeared like this. Hmm. Yeah, so I just really feel this energy that so with back to the karmic stuff, right? Well, you know, I'm like I was just telling my friend who I'm going to start teaching astrology that a lot of astrologers they just go in a straight line and they don't tie it together. I do a circle, I take you in a circle, we go back around, and then I paint the insides. Um, so karmically, the third house south node, right? This, let me just see, 11, 11, 1, 11, 2, yeah. So, um, yeah. So, the fact that it's there, that shows that you in past lives didn't take on the higher information, and you're here to really develop your higher mind. And you've been narrow-minded in past lives because of the conditioning, right? Also, when it comes to traveling and taking risks, like in terms of like, talking to people from different culture with different philosophical backgrounds, there's a big need to open up. And as a Sag moon, the high level Sag moons are people who are able to say, you know what, like, because they can be very opinionated, but it's about the mantra of like, I know nothing. Even though I've learned a ton, like, what is this person who I might completely on the surface level disagree with? What do they have to teach me, right? Um. So yeah. So really developing that higher mind. My guilty pleasure. I have two: watermelon Red Bull. So fucking good. Don't drink it, but and um, it's like the Swedish nicotine, not tobacco, just nicotine under the lip. But I'm not perfect. I never claim to be. Okay, I was gonna. Okay, there it is. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, as I said, like the sun and the moon, the masculine and the feminine are in agreement. But a 29-degree moon, there's going to be lots of trials and tribulations. You're going to have to go through. It's really a culmination. There can be crises, but also lots of rewards, right? So it's really the end of a karmic emotional phase in this lifetime. And it could even be related to like your mother, um, or just like, you know, this way of being, existing, right? Um, like with the Pluto square, yeah, like that's how I see it. It's like you're opening up your energy, like the weight coming in is very heavy on the shoulders. So if you have parents, for example, or people around you who kind of emphasize and push forward that heaviness, it's very important to create boundaries with them. Um, but as a South Node in Capricorn, there's a tendency to be good with boundaries, but that's more physical boundaries. Energetic boundaries, that's where it's difficult. So yeah, the 29 degree, there can be like some issues with decision making. Um, sometimes being like kind of jumping between, uh, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I want to feel this way, I want to feel that way. So, yeah. And yeah, just a real sense of like karmic urgency in this lifetime, right? To get it right, right? And I feel you. I like I said, there's a reason that I'm your astrologer, or that you've come to me. We both have Pluto square nodes, and most astrologers don't even know what the fuck that means, right? That is the ultimate past life trauma. And I have a lot of people that come to me with that. And the odds of that mathematically are very small. So God obviously sends me them on purpose. Um, yeah. So, 1 sec. I'm just looking something up real quick. Yeah, so just like really grounding yourself. Grounding yourself is very important. Making sure that you know, making sure that like because like it's your emotions, right? It's your emotions. So there's just like a big potential for kind of having that impulsivity, those impulsions, all that impulses, I mean. So very, very important to not, to really think things over. And that's the thing about like Sag is that it can be very impulsive. It's a fire sign. So we're very spontaneous people with Sag moons, right? I mean, me and you, we have actually a lot in common in our chart. You'll see as I get more into it. Um, but yeah, that's kind of like the 29-degree stuff. And your Venus at 0 degrees, interesting. Um, but yeah, so overall, like, also your Black Moon Lilith is in Sag, so that just kind of speaks to like the potential of you being dogmatic and trying to like push your like it's not something you do. I'm just saying that it's like it speaks to our lowest like potential. So for you it would be like because you've spent so much energy, so much time learning and coming to your opinions. Um and you like let's say astrology, right? For easy example, let's say like you've learned so much through astrology or human design or spirituality in general, right? And you have a sibling that's struggling, right? Or a best friend from childhood, and you know that if they would just fucking listen to you, that they could have their lives changed like you had yours changed, but they don't want to. And sometimes Sags try too hard to push their opinion on others. And sometimes there can be that dogmatism of not wanting to listen, not wanting to hear that other perspective. Um, so yeah, that's something. Um, yeah, so just learning about like self-restraint, and just like yeah, just like in general towards your like with your goals, even like financial goals or just like anything like that, just like really like learning to not be overly expansive, overly promising too much. I said that, and I wish I say these things before I think them, because I was like, watch her, like in my head she's gonna have Sun square Jupiter. You do, like I do. That is the Superman Superwoman syndrome, I call it. I made that up. And the reason I call it that is because it makes someone who's already Sag Moon, Jupiter ruled, overly expansive. So one of the challenges they have to deal with, it's really good for leadership, but it relates to your Black Moon Lilith too, because it's like metaphorically the person who's too optimistic, you know? They walk into the casino and they think, oh, I'm for sure gonna win everything. Then they risk too much and they lose it all. Like excessive behavior. Um, but like it's kind of one of those energies where it can make someone a little bit like um not narcissistic, but like delusional. But like I think delusional, being like a bit delusional, I think that's a key ingredient for actual success. In fact, I would go as far to say, I made a video, I didn't post it, that you should, if you are someone who others would call delusional, you know, like so many delusional people, you know, Kobe Bryant was delusional when he said he was going to be this, you know, Michael Jordan was delusional, or, you know, you name whoever did something great was delusional when he said, or she said that, you know, going to be the best at whatever they became the best at. Well, guess what? It happened. They manifested it, you know? So I always talk about create boundaries around that shit. You know, create boundaries around that shit. Create boundaries around like if there's someone who kills your flow, no, 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 no. But yeah, with the Sun square Jupiter, it's like what's the expression? It's like shoot for the stars, shoot for the sun, hit the stars, some shit like that. Basically, speaking about like how you know if you go for it all, you might not get to like 100, but you're gonna get to 90 or 80, and that's still really good. Maybe get to 100, but yeah. Okay. So also like me, we have a lot in common, Julie. No Earth in your chart, no Earth to be found anywhere. So you do have your South Node Earth. So this is something I've noticed with my clients is that this could mean that you have mastered the earth element, which is about stability, consistency, being grounded, waking up each day and feeling like you're the same person day to day. Like, um, so for me, for example, with no earth, balance is super hard. It's really, really hard to have the same mood day. I can't do these readings live because I don't know how the fuck we if we plan this for 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, maybe I'm having like an existential crisis or I don't really have existential crisis, but like, you know, maybe I'm just like in a really low energy mood and you know, like I just can't talk. I just want to sit and watch YouTube and zone out, you know? So it's like that's the no Earth. The Earth person would be able to like have their schedule perfect. And I'm very so you have to really an organization too. So you have to really, really work hard on organizing, which you know I'm very, very organized myself. But like that comes maybe that comes from having a Virgo mom. I don't know. Um, but yeah, let's see if Saturn's doing anything good. Oh, nice. You have Saturn trine Mercury. That's good for intelligence. And Saturn with Mars. So that's gonna actually help you a ton with the lack of Earth, Saturn and Mars together. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So that's actually going to help a lot with the organization and the being responsibility and getting shit done. But yeah, okay. So yeah, so yeah, like the Aquarius fourth house, it's like you're trying to be grounded in this lifetime, right? Cancer North Node. So you do want to have like most likely a home, a family, or at least get really in touch with your feminine side. Um, you might identify more with the masculine energy. Um, but right, and I don't mean that like in any gender, you know, current politics way. I mean that purely as in the astrological, like fire and air are masculine, um, and earth and water are feminine. But anyways, so I digress. So yeah, that's a big goal. With the sun in the fourth. And I might go do I might move us downstairs for a little bit. Go see the kittens. I have two new kittens. But hold up. And let's do this. Hold on. So we have to plug. Is the video? Oh, I hate when they seem to fucking it just. I know just. I know what's going to play it here. Oh, plug that in. Start camera. Okay, let's go. Let's go kitten now. Let me open this. Okay, how much battery power do I have? You choose. Okay, well, we can go for a little bit. Hey, settings. So yeah, like these, like Aquarius, obviously it's all about, being rebellious. It's all about freedom. It's all about like individualization, right? On a karmic level. So because you see the correlation, and astrologers, like I don't like. I mean, I do talk myself up because I am like I've had readings. I've heard all my clients. Oh my God, look at these babies. Like they can't make these correlations. They don't understand like the karmic stuff like I do. Look at these. That's Ina, and there's Neela. Why do you sleep there? You have your own bed. No cat's ever like that bed. It's such an expense. Oh, I need to get a pillow. Hold up. I know I stepped on you, Ina. Okay, we might have like 15 minutes in here, and the babies will probably come up in a sec and start biting me. So, camera good? Good. Okay. So anyways, yeah, so like as an Aquarius, you're here to not follow your parents. I mean, you could. I mean, like I said, like it's important for you to like look at the relationship like with mother or early nurturing in general, and like see if you over idealized or under idealized. Like you have a fair assessment of how it was. That's step one. Step two, it's like, um, really, really blazing your own path as an Aquarius, fourth house. And it's like about being different, about taking the road less traveled, but also as a fourth house sun, about being grounded. Now, your sun's with Venus also, so that gives you like a lot. Like Aquarius can be kind of aloof. They get the reputation of being unemotional, like they don't really show their affection. But as a Venus conjunct Sun, that makes you a very, very lovey person, a lovey Aquarius, very gentle, affectionate, someone who's able to really be good socially, um, and also really, really, really artistic. But you can, art, and it's good for money too. Um, and love, can play a huge role in your life, creating beauty, right? So, you know, um, and it's very peaceful too. Like love, peace, beauty, and it gives someone like a very rich social life. And already Aquarius is related to friends. So I'd be very shocked if you were someone who had lots of trouble with friends. Now you do have some tough aspects on Square Pluto, Venus Square Pluto. We'll talk about those in a sec. But and it usually gives very good looks and a very nice aura. Um, yeah. So what else can I say about that? Oh, and like gives kind of like a calm charisma too.
Oh yeah, duh. Fashion sense. And the fact that's in Aquarius, you might have like a very, very unique fashion sense. And just like artistic sense. And it's very good for like diplomacy and being like someone who wants to create harmony of Mars and Libra too. So you're the person that people come to, um, you know, when there's an issue and you can kind of be the party in between. Yeah, that's really nice. Now the sun is sextile Uranus. That is really, really an interesting one. It makes someone who, as an Aquarius, because so Uranus rules your sun, you're able to express yourself in a very like unique way, but it's not done in a way that offends people or that's off-putting. Um, a lot of people get off-put by like the super, you know, Aquarian rebellious people, like, oh, they're just trying to be different, blah blah. But it definitely allows you to kind of express like this kind of eccentric, exciting part of you in a way that people enjoy, you know? And even if there's like peculiarities, I'm trying to, I'm framing my English here. And kind of like this like real like mutability, like wanting to do this and this and that, like changing a lot. Maybe it does not cause drama or chaos. Um, like people accept your differences and even like enjoy them. You know what I mean? You know how like some like people like I guess celebrities you could say like um are very eccentric but people love it while others are eccentric but people like hate on them for it. It's kind of like that. And yeah, it creates someone who's very like proud of being different. Okay, what other aspect? Um, yeah, just like a great emotional power, someone who can like really like when they make a decision, really mold their life in um the manner they choose, and then also no, it doesn't do that. Where the charge disappeared. Okay, so oh, I remember. Sorry, I have to turn on thing for my eye strain because it was getting so bad yesterday. Himalayan salt lamp, please. Ooh, what is this one? This one's real nice, but it's kind of weird. Yeah, so Sag Moon, um, sometimes they can get really depressed when um things are too the same and too like when there's not that change, they crave that change. They need that change, right? So under stress, they'll want to go on an adventure. So as a partner, you would need someone who's adventurous as well. And someone who's open, who can have like philosophical discourse with and so forth. Um, okay. So yeah, basically like that's kind of that energy. So yeah, like like you're moving towards freedom. You're trying to also like, like do that in a way that's still grounding to yourself. You can express beauty amazingly, but your Venus is retrograde at 0 degrees. So that's really, really interesting. And it's also square Pluto. I have that also. Another thing we have in common. So that is super interesting. When we connect it to all of your karma, it goes back to that relationship thing and just how self-love is one of the biggest life lessons here in learning to value yourself. With Venus square Pluto, it's usually later, earlier on in the first relationships. It can make someone come off way too strong, um, and have really dark relationships oftentimes it's, unless they've done the work on themselves, but they meet their darkness through relationships. It can be anything from like, you know, and if the person hasn't found that self-love, that self-value, they can start to like use power play, like if they have like an abandonment issues, like or something like that, they can start to, like they can like fall super deeply, and it's very, very karmic for people really, really fast, and not everyone matches that level, right? So it's like really important to kind of like find a life purpose, because when you have your life purpose, you don't rely on the relationship to be everything. But a lot of people when they're younger and they have this aspect, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and then they have this relationship and it becomes their everything. Um, and they have a fear of losing it, so sometimes they'll just be very paranoid, and they can turn into like, yeah, like a power struggle, the relationship, and they really, really meet their own Pluto, which is your, your darkness, with what is meant to be change, death, rebirth, transformation through relationships. But Venus actually is self-love. So once one really truly finds self-love, and your Venus is in Aquarius retrograde, so I wouldn't be surprised if you were an artist. A lot of Venus retrogrades are artists, but it's in Aquarius. So it's about you accepting yourself for your quirkiness, for your exit. And I know my eyes closed. I just need to get in the zone. For your eccentric nature, it's that you really, really like understand, like, I'm different and I love it. Because like when Venus and Aquarius, like myself do, when we try to be kind of fit in, uh, we're just different. But like in love, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about the Venus retrograde. A lot of times Venus retrograde people have difficulty expressing love freely. Um, and they can sometimes like uh interpret how like their life through the lens of how much love or how good their relationships are. They're so tired, they ran so much. So like it can be linked to codependency, also like, yeah. Okay, I'll talk about that later. So really, really good with art. Yeah, so like how much am I loved or deprived of love? Um, but then like, so there's lots of karma with relationships here. And the soul carries memories of like difficult past relationships. Um, and a misunderstanding of the nature of love, right? And what can happen with people with this is that sometimes they can self-sabotage when they actually have real opportunities for love, and cut themselves off from it because they have like this unconscious fear of being hurt once more. Um, so yeah, kind of blocking themselves out um, from happiness. But when it comes to art, when it comes to beauty, all that stuff, you know, this is like, I hope like if your parents put you in art classes and stuff like that early on, that'd be the best thing possible. That's why I always encourage everyone to get a reading for every child. Also like animals, very, very helpful. Um, but yeah, it's really about like learning to love people freely, and learning to love yourself unconditionally and love people unconditionally. How much battery power do I have? 13%. So then the fact that Venus is at 0 degrees is very interesting too. Because that is kind of like the Joker card in tarot, where you're meant to go through like lots of new karma with relationships, and go through lots of trial and error, right? Um, so it really is, um, you're really starting all over again in relationships in this lifetime, right? Um, so yeah, and because it's an Aquarius, it's about freedom, and it's about keeping your individuality, who you are within a relationship, not too much of that, right? Like losing yourself. So it could have been like, you could have been like incarnating in like it goes back to like the thing with love, where there's trauma around that. Maybe there's like arranged marriages or something like that, right? Um, but now it's like kind of like the first taste of relationships, like with this kind of freedom. So yeah. And also Venus is like the finer things in life. So maybe in past life there's like a lack of that, and maybe in this life you're getting to experience that on some level, right? Who knows? Um, but it could be the opposite. It could be like, someone who's used to like having like everything given to them and tons of money and all that, everything easy, and now money is difficult. But there's a big change, the main thing. But it's with the sun, so Venus is a really important part of your identity. So a soft Aquarius, what a fucking beautiful thing. Um, so let's see, your Mercury is square Chiron, so yeah, okay. Um, so yeah, basically, so really, really important, Sun square Pluto. That's a huge aspect. And basically this is another one where there's that need to let go. There could be crises. Um, people with this sometimes have control freak issues. Um, when they feel like they're not in control, like they can be very agitated. Um, so having harmony in all your relationships requires like a big level of transformation. Um, So, it really is like until there's like a more relaxed attitude, it will create this push towards the underworld, right? Um, so it's important for you to like really, really dig deep into like the occult, esoteric, anything that like kind of gets you, that helps you transform, therapy, anything healing, right? Battery check, 9%. And yeah, it's like sacrificing that need to control others is the rebirth, a lot of times it comes from a parent that was controlling, usually it would be the father. And it makes someone like really hardworking, very determined, so it's about channeling that in the right way. Um and really getting good at working with others. Why does your chart keep disappearing? But yeah, I think like a lot of times Pluto square, some people have a lot of trouble controlling their emotions, and they can just like let a lot out, be very explosive, unpredictable. um Aquarius is a sign that's known for keeping its cool though, so curious to know how that goes. I know you don't have the follow up, but if most people they have the reading, this follow up. It's a 1 hour session in current astrology. I highly suggest you all three. I'll give you a very good price for those. Usually it's around $600. I'd be happy to do the follow up for 100 and the current for 260, so it'd be 360 total. It's a 3 hour session, first hour follow up, next 2 hours current astrology. We talk about the year ahead. It's very, very important. This is just one part of astrology. It's really important to know the astrological weather and how it's going to be affecting you. Because right now, I can just look at your chart and tell you have Neptune opposite your fucking moon. I just went through Neptune's square moon, the transit. Oh man, and it's just kind of starting for you. I'm not just saying that because I want you to book. I have enough sessions, but like, yo, if you don't book, just search transit Neptune opposite natal moon. Yeah, yeah. The Pluto one is really about compromise. Yeah, lots of blow ups. But like really competitive. And so like yeah, what are your positive channels? Like what are your also there's like often like crises early in life that kind of push that person towards like a understanding of like the darker side of reality. Um, does that make sense? Like Pluto is the darkness. Hey baby. 6%. She's calm. She's a double Aries. She's a crazy cat. But right now, she just played so much. What is that? She's so tired. She's too tired to bite me. Usually bites me by now. Oh no, she starts. She's so tired she can barely do it. Yeah. So, yeah, people that's gonna be like really aggressive. But it really does push them back from like attaining their ambitions when they're trying to control people and when they're trying, always need to be boss and stuff like that. So yeah, it really is that inner transformation that's needed. Um, and just like it's like a release of pressure, so there's like this pressure. So it's about just like, oh my God, thank God Zoom is the fucking shit. My computer is at like 6%. It shuts down, having mad problems with my computer. I'm like, yo, please say I didn't lose the first hour of that fucking recording. And it's I didn't lose it. I mean, it's loading it. It basically just like, I guess somehow um where is it actually? Yeah, it's converting it. So I'm just gonna have to like stick both audio file or both video files together. So thank fucking God. Zoom, you are awesome. You're worth the money. Okay, so where was I? I kind of want to go downstairs to my charger, but I'll wait a little bit. Yeah. So like, I lost where I was. Sun Square Pluto. Yeah. So learning about compromise. Um, looking at like any kind of dominating tendencies. Um, and just yeah, leaning into like the diplomatic way of being, right? And a lot of times it's like people who are taking on traits of their parents. So it could be like a very powerful father, like I don't know, it differs. Um, so yeah, Venus square Pluto also can be like, so it's like yeah, it's literally like your relationships reflect your self-love. If you don't love yourself, you will date very, very dark people or attract very, very dark people. If you're not in your purpose and your mission, it's not about that. It's about like really valuing and loving yourself. Let me test this down again. So yeah, it's really about that. It's really about this. It's really about that. Let's go back with microphone.
Okay, so that's probably sounds better. Okay, so anyways, where was that? So yeah, so that's the sun. Sun is also yeah, so that's all the aspects of the sun and the moon. Okay, so then the ruling planet is Mars. So you're Scorpio rising with Jupiter rising. That's an amazing combination. When Jupiter rising is a karmically like amazing thing. You have like a larger than life personality. Scorpio risings, they have this like very dark mystique. People are very like they see them, but they like they're very noticeable. In like a very kind of like mystique type way, like how Scorpio is. They're old souls. They are but like having Jupiter there, like so once again, like it a Scorpio rising is usually has like more of a cold energy, like intimidating, but Jupiter gives more of like an expansive, really, really, really like kind of benevolent, um, optimistic, positive outer personality. Very giving and someone who wants to like ask lots of questions and really gain lots of knowledge, right? So it reflects your Sag moon very well. um And yeah, it kind of like pushes that idea of like studying and teaching and all the side stuff, philosophy, all that. So I would be, I mean, like it's always hard to say, like, I would be surprised if you haven't like traveled a lot because everyone has their own situation. A lot of people in the US haven't been out of the US, right? It's expensive and people have their kids and all that stuff like that. But as a Sag moon, most Sag moons like really feel their best when they're in a different culture. A lot of them even move away from the culture they grew up in, right? So yeah, Jupiter rising, amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. What can I say about that? Wait, I hope I close the door well. Hold up. What's the battery power at? Okay, if I go fast enough, I can plug this in. Finish my reading downstairs. No more microphone. I can't hear all that. Okay, cool. Okay, let's roll with this. We have this, we have this. Uh-huh. Okay, let's do it. Mission. Build. My key. And get with my thoughts, because that's how real G's do it. Okay. I hope I didn't do. Good job, Cat. Big boss coming through. Okay, let's get this plugged in right away. Fuck. Fucking God. No, plug, 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 plug. Okay, good. Quick, quick, quick before it dies. Last second. Made it. Yes. Okay. Need more lighting in here. Come on, don't bite. I want both you guys up here. Come on, baby. You're so cute in your red bed. No, no, you're not gonna fight her. You're gonna stay with me. That's Neela. Neela. Stay, stay. Come here, stay here next to me. Stay next to me. Okay. She's just like my cat Mika, so she's gonna get mad when I don't pay attention. Okay, so yeah, so
as I was saying, Jupiter rising, yeah, it's just like such a good karma aspect, like really good fortune, makes someone create, really, really like like so optimistic, and really like I will bet $1,000 that you are like if you're like an unpopular person, the only thing that could do that is like the Sun square Pluto if that's taken the wrong way. Of course, everything in astrology is like it's free will meets the chart, so it's like you know what I mean? If like the lowest manifestation of your chart is like that Sag energy that's just like always trying to tell people how to live their life and preachy and stuff like that. But often Sag moons are really, really chill people that are fun to be around, that are open-minded and this, that, and the third. Um, but yeah, this is great for wealth also. And it's just someone who like always wants to keep learning and keep growing, right? And it gives lots of talent, you know. Um, and it's also like this mixed with your Aquarius energy, it gives you the ability to really, really give people freedom. You value freedom and freedom of speech a lot, definitely. But yeah, just this expansive energy and aura, with fucking Scorpio rising, right? It's just like, um, just this very, very, like, yeah, I don't know. Scorpio rising sometimes freak people out because people feel like they can like see through them. Um, and yeah, they have this depth to them, right? They have this it's the rising, the Scorpio. Yeah, you come off probably is quite witchy. But then Ceres is there too. So there's like, someone who's very, very nurturing. Um, and they feel cared for, or nurtured when there's like the emotional commitment given to them, and they nurture others through emotional um commitment, right? Loyalty, all that stuff. And Aquarius, it's fixed. I'm not sure if I would say it's a loyal sign because I've been cheated on by my first love, who's an Aquarius. But um, I think that like Aquarius is like can be very loyal when when their head's in the right place. If they feel like their freedom's being taken away, like a Venus Aquarius like yourself can really feel like they can really feel like any kind of clingy relationship, they can feel like it's like a prison, like they need freedom to be themselves. They can't they can't deal with like the clingy stuff. But also like the retrograde Venus could really indicate that, yeah, it really does speak like um kind of like a love and just self-love and like a misuse of that in past life. So yeah, and then Ceres rising just makes you like, yeah, a very comforting person, someone who likes to care for other people. It gives like a warmth. So like this Jupiter and the Ceres really gives like a warmth to your Scorpio, which is nice. And then the Venus gives a warmth to your Aquarius. Like this is like the thing with astrology, right? It's like if someone says you're a Scorpio rising Aquarius sun, like people are like, oh, cool. You're probably very cool, probably very aloof. And perhaps you are, I don't know. But like with all these, Venus on your sun, um, Sirius and Jupiter on your rising, like I don't know. I feel like you're probably very easygoing. And a Sag moon, the most easygoing of them all. So, anyways, Mars moves your chart from the 12th house. Um, Mars in Libra, it's in detriment, and or yeah, and meaning that Mars in Libra is very bad with decision making, and they sometimes can people please too much. They can be so in the 12th house, they can feel like their personal power is like eroded. There can be like out of the blue outbursts, like and it can be like passive aggressive, like stuff that builds up over time. Um, and it's like linked to this like loss of direction, right? So that's why your chart is so important for you to have like a unique spiritual journey or artistic journey or whatever. Because if you're going down like a road, like you're south, like stuck in your south node, like very like kind of like the consensus reality, doing what everyone else wants you to do, you'll feel very, very lost. And um, yeah. But Mars and Libra also there's just that yeah, that drive for diplomacy, but they have to really like work on boundaries. And I have two cats on me now. Ina, Nila, double Aries, Taurus, Libra. This is the most fiery cat ever, but she just expended so much energy because we had guests over, and she went crazy for literally like probably 2 hours, and she had to run it all over my full apartment for the first time when the cats were outside. Big cat. How cute she is. They both are so cute. Oh my god, it's such a great photo. Hey guys, look. Okay, I'm just gonna do my thing. Sorry, you're looking at my Adidas shirt and tattoos, but you guys can be cats. Um, yeah. So Mars and Libra is tough. Like people pleasing can be very, very, very common. Having difficulty like saying no is common. Um, so having a set of values that you can subscribe to, right? Based on yourself. And also Mars in the 12th house. Yeah, like I've literally noticed people with that who like they really, really need to get the energy out. And the key for Mars in the 12th house is being of service in your life, right? I'm not saying you have to quit your day job and and be like just if you are of service, it removes all of that negativity, but it can be really, really rough. Mars in the 12th. Also, it can bring hidden enemies. And a lot of times in childhood, like the 12th house is the house of repressed energies, right? So it's like a lot of times people were bullied in childhood, who have this, or feeling like people feel like they didn't have a voice. Um, and they can repress a lot of parts of themselves, right? So that kind of goes with the Pluto stuff, like the square with Pluto. It's like if you did feel like you were dominated and you didn't have a voice, perhaps you take it out. You can take it out or later in life on other people. That's the importance of that inner work, and not projecting the repressed energy on other people. Um, because it's like yeah, people with that can really feel like their personal power is really really held back, and sometimes people with this can like prefer fleeing rather than kind of like fighting like fight flight or freeze. They might fight um and yeah, it just creates tons of fears and phobias with Saturn. But if you weren't if this energy wasn't like overtaken early on in life, or repressed or whatever, it can become super powerful, right? That's how 12th house is. And it can make one very, very great healer and all that. Um, what else? And yeah, when it comes to the occult, the esoteric, it's super, super like powerful, and it gives like a drive to want to like study those fields because the person knows like if I do that, that's what gives you that awareness. Best advice, 12th house Mars, sports, and strengthening the body. Um, Martial arts is a great one. Anything that gives you self-confidence. So, and yeah, and just like really, really like getting that energy out so that the out, so outbursts don't happen. And yeah, like usually like the hidden enemies are males, but yeah, but like a lot of times it's more like phobias and fears of having hidden enemies. Um, so yeah, and that's the chart ruler. So conquering that, the highest Mars Libra is the person that is a healer who has boundaries, who has a set of morals that they base their decisions off of, right? That doesn't people please, that knows when to say no, and is able to, you know, like transform that and not and really really because it makes one like kind of want to go towards therapy and like making the unconscious conscious. So oh, she's such a sweet Venusian. She doesn't even bite me. So yeah, that's important. Um, so Mercury is in Aquarius, opposite Chiron, or is it square Chiron? Square, no, square Chiron, square Chiron. Yeah. So you have Chiron in Taurus, which speaks about like insight on descendants. That's we'll get into love next, but self-esteem issues usually, which also can be very, very good to do things for the body, like kind of noticing like the psychosomatic connection. But you know, it 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 just makes someone not really feel like sure of themselves early on, and lack of self-worth. Sometimes they can like overcompensate by like trying to like get money and like all that stuff, and a lot of times they don't feel beautiful, so it's better for them to do things to make them feel. Stop biting, stop biting. You're good, Mila. You're a good girl. Don't hit her. Don't hit her. Don't hit her. You're kicked out, or you're moved. So yeah, the fact that Mercury in Aquarius, I see this often in my clients. That creates its station. So it was about to go retrograde. Um, which kind of performs almost like a so yeah, just you have a very abstract, outside the box mind, right? And because of that, you probably receive shame early on. So many of my clients have this because they are very intelligent people, but they are misunderstood. Now, proof that you're intelligent is that Saturn trines Mercury. Saturn in this case is memory. Mercury is the brain, cognition, and speech. So that shows that you have that kind of intelligence. And then Mercury trine Mars is very good for communicating and grasping ideas very quickly. Um, you know, like a good discusser, anime discusser. And the fact that it squares Chiron, it just shows that, you know, um, early on you probably um, you know, thought ahead of your time and were very misunderstood and maybe believed that you lacked intelligence or that you saw things, in the wrong way, right? Um, and a lot of times people that like have trouble asserting their own or had trouble asserting their own thoughts and opinions, but overall it's just like learning to value yourself in terms of your wisdom, in terms of your um you know intelligence, and just the fact that your uniqueness, right? And Mercury square Chiron makes someone an excellent listener, someone who can be a great healer, right? So many clients have Chiron in Gemini or Chiron in hard aspect to Mercury, and it's because they are the chosen ones and they are the ones who, um, you know, were misunderstood because they were ahead of their parents. He loves me due to the double Aries. Show you here for a little bit. How do you bite when you love me so much? Mila? Oh, good girl going back. Yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, um we'll get into Mars, then we'll get into the Venus stuff. Okay, so no, actually no. So okay, love stuff. So Chiron on the Descendant, that creates someone who experiences lots of pain and love, but also can experience lots of healing, suffering from broken, painful relationships, feeling of rejection. But then so like the theme of like healing and teaching is whether someone in a relationship like comes in and teaches you, or whether it's the opposite, where you teach them and you learn a lot through your relationships, but there's pain, especially early on. Um, so as a Sag moon, the perfect mate for you, like I said, needs to be adventurous. It could be someone from a different culture, someone who adds to your overall philosophy. Now, the fact that the Neptune's with the moon, that emphasizes the importance of someone who can give you space when you need it and who has a good energy, right? Venus in Aquarius, that also emphasizes, and being in Aquarius, the need for being able to be your unique, weird self, and the need to have space. I'm a Venus in Aquarius. I do not sleep in the same bedroom as my girlfriend. I never would. I don't believe in it. There's studies that have actually come out recently that have shown that relationships have more success when there's different bedrooms. And I think there'll be more and more studies that show that the more space um, partners take from each other or have from each other, the better it is. And it's a very simple, energetic concept that when you're away from someone, the heart grows fonder, and that the energies are able to separate, and you realize what you don't have. Okay. Um, so aside from that, your Juno is your perfect mate, and that is in Sag. So there you go. Um, So yeah, it really does speak to like, second house. So, but like uh, someone who also is solid, right? Descendant in Taurus. So who's solid, who is solid in themselves, solid in their life, solid maybe even in their career and in what they've built. Kind of like material security is important with relationships. Um, and yeah, also like, yeah, like a common like life vision, common belief system, and some, yeah, an exploration buddy, adventure buddy. Aside from that, there is that need for yeah, just overall like someone easy, like some like there is a huge range. I'm not gonna give you any sign that's best for you, and you're probably married already. Who knows, maybe not. But the point is that you need alone time. You need to be free. You need, because you're not in this lifetime to be held back and to be with someone who's super like brainwashed by society. Like you're here to really really open up. So like yeah, someone who's like very brainwashed and tries to kind of pull you in and not open minded, that's really bad. Okay, moving forward, Mercury. Okay, we talked about that. Venus, talked about that. So yeah, and then the Venus square Pluto, of course, that's just like the need to have someone who can also, when like when things get serious, have that same loyalty, right? Who can go to those deep places with you, right? Yeah, you're a Sag moon, that's fun loving, all optimistic, cup half full, blah blah blah. But you do have some, you do have some Pluto energy. Mars in Libra, you need a peaceful, fair relationship. It can't be a power struggle, or that's the recipe for disaster. So yeah, yeah. Okay, so Mars conjunct um Chiron, or Saturn, excuse me. I see that a lot in the charts of very successful people, and sometimes people with that in 12th house, it's crazy. They can feel like held back energetically, like they can feel like it's kind of hard for them to really truly express their energy. something's holding them back, but this is mainly before the Saturn turn. Um, just like frustration, like it makes someone very ambitious. They have to, and usually have to grow up early. Um, but like slowly and surely they reach their goals. They have lots of karmic setbacks. Um, and they're usually quite good at like, discipline and organizing themselves, which I was talking about earlier with the lack of Earth. So this is a game changer with that. But yeah, like it's like they definitely kind of move in a way that is very determined. And then after the Saturn turns, so when they're like 30, 31 ish, they don't have that karmic bullshit. There's like boulders in front of your path. Those get removed and they keep that determination, that effort. And that's why so many successful people have that. But super strong work ethic. It's yeah. It's actually it's linked with stamina, just saying. And usually like a hot like remaining like sexually active like later in life. Um and yeah. So, but like when it comes to expressing anger, is it like passive aggressiveness can come up, and there can be like frustration with that, right? Is it in Libra? Um, but it can all be transformed. So, and it really, really well channeled into career in a really positive way. Um, but is it with? Yeah, so it just makes one like once you find that real passion in life, like you have that self-discipline, that determination to just go full in. And that's where that Pluto energy can be very obsessive and very good and helpful in that too. Okay, so filling in. So yeah, Jupiter first house, like as I said, expansive personality. Uranus second. Okay, so you have Uranus and Neptune the second. That can make money go up and down, and it's really, really important to connect. I said this to a client the other day. Really, really important to connect money, to not be overly obsessed with money, and to connect money to metaphysical, like physical and metaphysical. To not be obsessed with one. It can make someone like really, really like creative with like money making ideas, but yeah, like overall, it can create minimalists and people who just kind of have a very unique approach when it comes to spending. So you have to watch out. You have to be, yeah, like understand that like money sometimes will be like flowing, sometimes it won't, right? Um, Very unpredictable in that area of life. So it's not like anything like poverty. Um, but like usually people with this like they look at money as like something that limits their freedom. And the real targets of life, in their life are free, individualism, freedom, all that. So, um, it's kind of like that fuck it attitude. Like, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna spend it. Then your South Node, karmic tendency, and Capricorn might be like, no, be more conservative, right? And that's another thing about lacking Earth is that like Earth is very good at like being conservative with finances. Um, so yeah. Um, some people with this like they grow up poor and they get rich and they still keep like the same kind of like energy like in terms of like you know not spending on like luxury and they can buy like very eccentric things. You have Venus and Aquarius too, like kind of like spend their money in funny ways. um what else? Yeah, it's very like bohemian life um kind of energy. It's like freedom. um So then you have Neptune there too. Neptune in the second. So also like this, these two, like when it comes to like identity, it can make like up and down, like really like kind of like one's like kind of identity, self identity can be very like there can be like kind of a fog around it, and it can kind of like go up and down between like how they see themselves. Of course, like Jupiter on your ascendant makes that a lot easier, and Venus on your sun. But yeah, Neptune the second is really interesting because it makes someone like so. There's a lot there. There can be like a lack of clarity surrounding money. Um, but the key is to link Neptune, spirituality, um, compassion, metaphysics, link that with money. Do things for the metaphysical value. If you have the chance to change someone's life, change their life, you know? But yeah, it can really also on like it can make someone have a very unrealistic assessment of their own self-worth, which is super interesting, I find. Because they can, see themselves, everyone else sees them in a certain way and they see themselves differently. I just like think it's fascinating. But the more that they attach themselves to spiritual um tenets, morals, the better. Um, a lot of people in the second house, like Neptune, like to spend money on like concerts and anything that's kind of like artistic, books, stuff like that. Um, Also, really important second house Neptune thing is the potential for undervaluing one's work. Like one can be like a super creative worker, but they charge too little. So remember, like it's really important for you to like see yourself clearly. Um, and they can be really bad with money sometimes too, like not pay attention to their expenses. And with Uranus there, just like spend this, spend that, figure it out later. So yeah. So it's better to have, if you are very rich, to have someone like, who's like a triple Virgo, like doing all your finances and stuff. Not saying you can't do it, but Sagittarius also like the be spontaneous. And Sun square Jupiter, that's another one that isn't afraid to spend and take risks. But they don't always pay off. I've had my fair share of those. What else? But yeah, a lot of people in Neptune in the second house just don't give a fuck about like money. They're just like, I mean, they know they need it to survive, but like whatever. Like I don't value it that highly. Valuing spirituality more highly. Okay, so Vesta is right on your moon. Exact degree, right? I don't know if I've seen that. So Vesta represents the eternal flame, right? It's linked to work. It's like a more fun version of Saturn. And it kind of creates like this deep, deep, deep purpose. This intense um interplay between your lunar um internal unconscious emotional needs and your sense of purpose and what you're dedicated to. If that makes sense, right? So it just makes someone like whatever your heart is, your Sagittarian heart's connected to, you want to work in that direction. Um, so yeah. I'm just thinking of something. Yeah, so it really does kind of like really make you, yeah, it's very sacred and it really, really does make you want to make a big impact. And it makes it really easy to follow your intuition. And it's very, very much linked to like a, a life of service and something that's really meaningful. So yeah. Sometimes people with this, like they'll nurture others even at the expense of themselves, right? So as a Libra Mars, you have to always watch out to not be giving, 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 giving. Um, there's so many energies in your chart that, yeah. Okay, let's see. So yeah, just very committed to whatever you find most holy emotionally. And with Neptune there, I would be surprised if it wasn't something service related. And also with Neptune on Juno, I think that can make it so like a spirit, like add to the romantic thing of like kind of like some spirituality, I would say, and kind of like some real romance, but like not wanting things to be too clingy, but like also like kind of soulmate energy. Um, and yeah, like Juno in Sag, like I wouldn't be surprised if you married someone from a different country or different cultural backgrounds. Okay, moving forward. Um, yeah, so just make sure you don't like exclude, as I said before, other people's point of view when you're working. Um, you can, yeah, like I said before, when you care about something, you can work relentlessly towards it. But yeah, okay. Mm, mm, mm. Moon in the second house, they can also make money go up and down. So it's really important to find inner resources. So like you're not like overly connected to like the finances and external things is like your value and what gives you emotional nurturing. Uh, when it's connected more to like metaphysical, spiritual, that's kind of the key and the lessons. And when you get good with that, then the money stuff takes care of itself. Also, Venus in Aquarius and Mars in Aquarius. Okay, I forgot to say this about love stuff. You'll want your lover to be your best friend, and you might even care more about like Venus and Aquarius. Like we're not very touchy people. Like we care more about the intellectual, about talking. And sometimes we even value our friends more than our lovers. Like, um, nothing against the lovers, just like Venus and Aquarius loves their friends. Aquarius feels friends. And groups of people, soul fam, all that stuff. And yeah, Venus in the fourth house, you could be someone who works in real estate or like in some kind of like hospitality, like or design, something that makes like a home stuff for the home, beautiful stuff for the home. Who knows? Um, okay. And then Mercury on the IC, that just speaks about how you probably learned a lot and you probably had like a very like intellectually stimulating, maybe your parents are like both like very intellectual and just like yeah, very intellectually stimulating childhood and having a home where lots of ideas and information is exchanged. It also makes you really adaptable when it comes to a living situation. Um, so yeah, and sometimes it stems from living in different homes during childhood, having to move around a lot, and yeah. And like, yeah, Mercury on the IC, it just like makes one very curious, you know? And like if you're like outgoing, like you're probably the kid that like, you know, walked up to parents asking them why this, why that, why this, why like very curious, right? So it's a sign of intelligence. Um, and if more introverted, the more introverted person like just reads a bunch of books, wants to learn a lot about, like from home, right? And that like could be someone that works from home later in life. It's in Aquarius, so it could be like, working through technology. Yeah, lots of pastimes within the home. The home is meant to be a place where you think and talk and work. Okay. Okay. Vertex in Gemini in the eighth. Um, your doorway to higher awareness is really through the really intense Plutonian experiences that force you to surrender and force you to let go. Maybe there's some drama there, but they do force you to let go, and that's very, very important. Um, and then Gemini, it's just like, you know, that's more about your doorway, like in times of like great stress, like people who are like Gemini, people with Gemini in their chart, or just like Mercury, which is Virgo, also will come to your aid in important times. And um, it's through learning a lot and having these, because like as a Sag moon, we have the tendency to sometimes like, this is what I know, this is my philosophy, that's it, not taking anything else on board, not considering anything else. It's like through um, all these mini conversations, this collection of data, as I call it, that's the lower mind, that we then come to our conclusion. It's like Romania, right? I lived there. If I would have listened to what other people said about Romania, my idea of Romania would be fucking so off what it really is, right? So Sagittarius traveling, I traveled to Romania, um, and then I had Gemini, right, which is like the kind of instant kind of like experience and environment. Gemini conversations and relationship with the environment around, which then led to me changing my Sagittarius, um, you know, impression and truth about Romania. So you see how that can apply to anything? Curiosity. Curiosity is the key. Stop. As, you know. Also, just yeah, just communication in general. Writing, speaking, anything like that is really, really good for you and opens doorways for you. Um, and sometimes you might feel like you're, like this person's not deep enough, blah blah blah. Just try them. Just see what they have to say. Why they believe what they believe. Also, I'm gonna say this: you might have a destiny connected to birds. Just saying it. And your hands, using your hands like guitar or something, anything, Reiki, anything like that could be very, very, very good. North Node we already talked about, ninth house in Cancer. You're trying to be your own metaphoric mother in this lifetime and be able to take care of your emotional needs, feel into your emotions. And the thing about Sag Moon also is that we can be very future oriented. And yeah, it's important also to like take inventory of the past. Like, yeah, so you're broadening your perspective in this lifetime. And yeah, also learning to like have self-compassion and tolerate your own failures. Um, that's important too. Yeah, and just getting away from the karmic tendency to like just have to work so hard for other people's respect and being in that conditioning and yeah, just learning emotional expression is one of the key things, right? um, and humility and truth. Truth. higher truth. Literally, like what your truth is, right? Your overall truth on life, what you believe to be true, you then connect to your dharma. If I believe that money is everything, then I'm gonna go ahead and make and try to like make a bunch of money, right? If I believe that my metaphysical value, what I can bring to people through these readings, through whatever, blah blah, is more important than that, then I'm gonna do that. You see? So that's how they connect. So always questioning, always. The midheaven in Leo, so it's ruled by the sun in the fourth. Um, midheaven in Leo definitely, um, you know, they they like to kind of shine in what they do, and um, I think that they tend to care about public status and really just find things that they do well in, you know. So. Yeah, it's great for leadership. Um, and I think midheaven and Leo, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you were in something with, I don't know, I could just totally see you being in real estate or just it's tough with midheaven. But yeah, lots of like energy, ambition, and career. Also like, you probably want to have something that's fun where your work feels like play, you know? But yeah, Leo been having people love other people to see how amazing they are, and they like to express themselves through their career, and um, yeah, being able to be generous, and charismatic and a leader, and yeah. But as a Leo midheaven, you're probably seen by people that don't really know you, like let's say on social media, right? That's I see you as very like confident and um gregarious and all that, optimistic. And also like some level of courage, Leo's about courage, like related to your career. Okay, so we arrived here. So okay, Pluto in the 12th house, major placement. Pluto in the 12th house people, they have dreams that are crazy. Like they go through like the most intense ass dreams. Like it is insane. Like I'm not even just talking astral projection. I'm saying like like you better dream journal, you know? But then you have Saturn there, which can kind of cut off the dreams, which is difficult. But it gets a lot easier, or got a lot easier after you turn, 30, 31. So, but yeah, Pluto, 12th house, I always think of it like this. Um, you know, it is the ultimate letting go. And it is such a good metaphor for your chart. Oh my fucking God, it's magic. So the metaphor I give, Saturn is represented by rock in like archetypically, right? Archetypically, archetypically, um, or in a horary astrology, right? So it also represents the consensus, like reality, like the real world, right? So you're meant to jump off, which comes from your past lives, the solid rock of Saturn, the known world, what people think is real, into the 12th house. It's this complete letting go, right? Um, the endless sea of Neptune. So that metaphor is unreal. It's like it's like very charismatic, this one. This placement. And yeah, they're people who are really, really deeply drawn to their kind of psychic spiritual quest. Um, Yeah, it's a really, really interesting placement. Like a lot of actors and leaders, politicians and stuff have that. And they have this ability to kind of sense, but like Saturn, like I said, it can block this a little bit. What's hidden for most people, right? Like see the unseen or sense the unseen. Um, so yeah. Um, but there is with your 12th house a potential for you being like very, I mean, like you have this very outgoing energy, but like the need to have times of isolation, right? A lot of times Pluto 12th house people has a lot of secrets. That's one thing I noticed too. So yeah. So yeah, there's kind of like a dual thing with the 12th house Pluto. It's like they can be like super, humanitarian and everything, like kind of like if they're able to jump off the cliff into the Neptunian water, which represents enlightenment, and the water of Neptune's the endless sea, right? Everything is connected, we're all connected. Or they can be like very obsessed with power, as I was saying before, or very dictatorial, bossy, right? So we see politicians, right? Um, so yeah. But they're good leaders. They're good at making difficult choices. Um, and yeah, they just have this deep drive to like kind of know about the like what's beneath the surface, the secret agendas of the world, the unknown, and a love for they always love they not always, but if they're spiritual, they really like they can become like obsessed with like occult knowledge, and just like investigating anything, about past lives, reincarnation, past lives, dreams, death, like you name it, right? And yeah, it makes one very unpredictable and hard to pin down for sure. And then finally, Saturn being there, we had kind of talked about. Well, its first Pallas is there too. Pallas in the 12th. Um, that can bring the ability to really just understand and communicate like high spiritual teachings and ideas. Um, and in Libra, Pallas, it's like third eye, another form of Mercury. It just gives one the ability to kind of, once again, see both sides to a disagreement, be the middle person, be the diplomat, um, a defender of justice, all that. Um, so you're very smart for sure because you can see outside the box and you're able to see both sides with all the air. Air is really really perceptive. They love ideas, airy people, and they're able to really see all like and then Sag moons can zoom out and see the big picture of everything, the totality. Okay, Saturn the 12th, last place, and then we'll look at the stars. I'm at over 2 hours. Yep, I am again. So Saturn 12th house people, there can be issues with the father. Um, they can have not had a father in their life or a father that had like a weak influence or bad influence. And they sometimes feel like their boundaries are constantly being threatened. Um, and it takes them this deep investigation um, into the realms. What am I saying? Into the metaphysical realms, right? That's the point. But like for the first 12, 30 years, they might be like kind of afraid to kind of go deep and to really, really investigate these areas. Um, it's one of the most like I don't know. I think it's difficult. Some people don't. I think what can happen is the person can become very like self-limiting and carry guilt too much. A lot of times, like there's like a very difficult birth, so there could be like some like kind of trauma around like the actual birth process, which can lead to the person like subconsciously like isolating themselves, to kind of like recreate that, you know, safety of being in the womb. Um, it's not nearly ascendant. No, that's good. Um, but the fact that it's with Mars just means you have to watch your health. No, I'm not saying anything's gonna happen. I'm just saying it's really important for you not to overwork yourself and for you to have like a very, you know, your sixth house is ruled by um where are your chart keep disappearing? It's ruled by Aries, so Mars 12th, yeah. So just like the more service you do, the better it is for your health, your actual physical health. Um, what else? Yeah, just like lots of unconscious worries, lots of unconscious guilt. Um, that's not yours. That's really important to know. Like what's yours, what's not yours. Um, but with the rest of your chart, I feel like I don't know. Like I think your whole if you're not of service, I think your whole life changes if you become a service. Like with all these malefics in the 12th, like that's how you do it. What else? Yeah, I see the hidden enemies part, like Mars full house. Yeah, like Saturn and Mars can definitely bring enemies. Um, they can be jealous of that, of all those really positive things I was talking about. And yeah, like so the fact that you have all like the Sag moon, like that makes you not take life so seriously. A lot of people with Saturn's 12th house, they can take life too seriously, and just be really, really negative and isolate themselves and all that. That's really good that you don't. Um, okay, let's pull these up. But yeah, I think one thing with 12th house Saturn, they do, regardless of the chart, need a lot of solitude to recharge. And like they really need like that reconnection with themselves, you know? And they can have phases of like being like kind of in depressed mood. Like Sag moons are usually pretty fucking happy. But and you're an Aquarius, so you can be misunderstood already. But yeah, this can add to like being misunderstood, and it can make it difficult, really difficult to like kind of also talk about your problems with others. Um, so yeah. And what's interesting is that Saturn and the 12 people, a lot of them I've met, they are stuck in the past. But Sag moon people are like usually very future oriented, but they really have to like find like they really have to forgive themselves. Like I don't know what that means to you, but that's really, really important. Um, and until that inner work is done, it can really block your access to the world of imagination, all these gifts I'm telling you about. There can be all kinds of nightmares, just like fears, like of the darkness. Um, so yeah, usually it's like a father like that was, you know, not present or just lacking in life, or who wasn't able to like protect you from something. Um, so yeah, emotional vulnerability and hiding pain. Oh, they're looking at each other. It's so cute. All right, let's pull these babies up. What a long reading. I have just been doing the longest readings. This is gonna be longer than yesterday. There's no way. Okay, probably just as long. It's crazy. Yesterday I was like, no way. Okay, so you have Alphecca rising. Nice. I'm gonna write these down as I go. Okay. Um, midheaven, nothing. I should go upstairs because I have my fixed star book. Yeah, Alphecca is a really, really good star to have rising. I'll tell you more about it in a sec. You have to kind of like look up like the information about these because it's quite hard to find. Um, but it is very, very good. It kind of also gives kind of a lightness to that Scorpio energy for sure. Hold on. Okay. You have no idea. Oh my God, I can't reach. It's on my knee. I'm trying to take a screenshot. The cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay, so we have to move upstairs. You know what? This is so cute. Maybe I'll just. Sorry for the photo shot. Photo shoot. But what Aquarius doesn't love animals? I don't know any. Any Aquarius women that don't love cats. Hey, I'm sorry my computer's making weird noises, guys. Hey. Oh, I know. Disable. Hey, guys. Hey, Nila, Nila. You're so cute. There's third day here. Okay. Enough. You're too cute. Let's go upstairs and finish it off. Another 2 hour and a half fucking reading. Oh, bro. Where am I? I mean, I guess how many minutes was I like? I don't want to say fucking off, but you know. Ooh, actually, I need to pause. All right, back. I put the eardrops in the cat's ears, and I'm just gonna pause for that. Anyways, okay, so let's look at Astro 6 stars on anything 2020, 22, 23. Okay, Spica with Saturn. Okay. Interesting. I wonder how that would play out. That Yeah, that's an interesting one. And then midheaven, nothing. We'll look in my book to see. Okay, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. Dependent 11, 17. Okay, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. I see 21, 22. Angel. Okay. 18, 18. What's this? Lust. Ooh, okay, so lust and Mercury. Oh, and Mercury. Oh my God, you might be someone who's meant to learn astrology. Nope, no, not lying, not lying. And I do. Of course, I dropped this. Actually, do I have? Yeah, I have room for one more person actually, but I do one-on-one astrology classes. Just so you know, there's no better value that exists in the world. Um, I sell them in packages of 10, 20, and 50. Like the amount you learn compared to Deborah Silverman and these people who sell them for like, you know, thousands and thousands. Crazy difference. But anyways, you have Urania on your Mercury. So Mercury, that's the asteroid that's good at astrology. And it's 1 degree away. Aside from that, you have lust, which lust is the sexy aspect. You might have a sexy voice, or the word erotic novel came to my mind. I don't fucking know. Just being seductive to your voice. I don't know. That's just what comes to mind with that. Altair with Altair with Sun. That's like a very, very strong fixed star about leadership. And you have Venus and Sun. And mhm, 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 mhm. I don't know what that would create. Just see if there's anything that comes up. Okay. So, okay, let's start with Altair. Where's my big star? So your sun in Altair. I love seeing what this book is sacred text. Okay, Altair, and this is on your sun, so it's important. And how close is it? Point less than half a degree. And from Venus, exactly 1 degree. Okay, cool. So Altair in the eagle, also called the flying eagle, has a Mars character of the blend of Mercury and Jupiter. Okay. It bestows hardness, courage, and generosity, especially if Mercury. Good for lawyers and anyone that does anything like military personnel. Okay. So with the sun, public honor favors some superiors, many friends, and some envious ones who could cause trouble through writing. Okay. Okay, interesting. So here it's saying that there's kind of a contradictory energy here, and it's saying like how these people are like very humanitarian, like the types of people who join the Salvation Army, or if they could afford it, like go work like in Africa or something. The conflict in their behavior manifests when they make demands that their ego be satisfied through praise and admiration from others. If their ego is not totally satisfied, then they begin holding back their dedication. Remember, take these ones with a grain of salt because like it's very hard to find information and different people have different takes on them. These are like the cherries on top. But you know, there is a humanitarian, but it is very like boss energy, this one, right? Um so yeah, it's just talking about like the potential for the ego getting in the way of an otherwise like the whole soul versus ego thing. And they can turn their interest to the financial aspect of their work rather than the humanitarian. The humanistic approach to others is lost as their ego gets in the way. Their real objective is to receive praise from others for what they do, and when they do not receive it, they become hostile, strange to events, which goes on for a lifetime. See that one, like I don't know, that's so specific and kind of like I'm not just saying that because it was like a negative one, but um, yeah, I don't know, it seems very specific. So then Venus is Altair. Strange and peculiar attractions. So that's very on par with Venus and Aquarius. Okay, I want to see. Okay, so that's one. So Spica is one of the best stars. With Saturn though, I think I've seen it before there. I don't think it was that bad if I remember. Usually, so apt to be suspicious, sharp, or rugged, but does much good. Occult interest, good speaker, popular, many friends, gained through legacies, but extravagant. Good health, favorable for domestic affairs. Oh, that was the best Saturn ever. Usually Saturn ones are not the best. Okay, so 21 Leo. I feel like, is there anything there? Yes. Raz El Ased. But yeah, anyways. Look at that after astrology. Oh, mm, doesn't do shit. Okay, Alpheka, last one on your ascendant. Um, honor, dignity, poetic, artistic ability. Um, your ascendant's with just this, right? No, it's ascendant in Jupiter. But Jupiter is not conjunct it. Let's see if it is. This brings greater prosperity and commands glory and power. So it says with just the with just the ascendant, I know it's good because I when I planned my astrology, like when I was gonna come back for my break, I planned it for my rising to be Alteca. Um, a life spent in various pleasurable pursuits, loves adornment, and secretly engaged in love affairs or adultery, potentially. A liking for literature, art and science, artistic talents, and also success in trade and commerce. A friend of leaders, an energetic body becomes famous or well known and popular, loved by many. Glorious, a high priest or high priestess. Very learned, well known, fond of philosophy, eloquent, creative. Really good. Insightful, ingenious, fond of music and arts, kind of hard to readable, skillful, self-taught, esteemed, virtuous, well-spoken, blah blah. Um, a commanding nature, lots of resources. Yeah, so pretty much as good as you can get. All right, well, I'm gonna have to bring these two together, but yeah, so my longest reading somehow I longer than yesterday, which is just absolutely wild. But yeah, let me know about adding those two other ones. If you want to just add the follow-up, that would just be $100. Usually it's like 160. And if you want to add maybe I'll just drop these in part one and part two. No, no, I'll just attach them. Yeah, and if you want to do the other two, I said 360. So let me know. Thank you. Oh, I'm not showing myself, but let me know. Thank you so much. Talk to you later. Ciao.